By the end of this video, you are going to learn scientifically backed ways to exercise with your menstrual cycle. Before I dive in, go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel using the subscribe button down below, and make sure to click that bell to be notified every time I post a new video on menstrual cycle health and fitness. My name is Omega Zumpano. I'm an exercise scientist and menstrual cycle educator, and I have helped so many women get fit, understand their hormones, and reduce PMS. So let's talk about that getting fit part. I'm going to break down the 4 phases of the menstrual cycle and go through scientifically backed ways to work with each phase. And we'll start with the bleed phase. The bleed phase is the first phase of our cycle, and in this phase, our hormones are actually the lowest, and hormones estrogen and testosterone aid in muscle recovery and muscle growth. So given that, it is not the best time to expect to set personal records in this phase of your cycle. And I know that everyone is completely different, but by and large, most people find it harder to push themselves in the bleed phase. So the bleed phase is a great time to do recovery workouts and workouts that are easier for you. Now let's dive into the research for the follicular phase. In a 2021 article, author Romero Parra and colleagues showed that we actually have more delayed onset muscle soreness following exercise in the follicular phase. And we've all experienced this with exercise, right? We do exercise one day, we really feel like we get a good workout, we really push ourselves, and the next day we're like, oh my God, I'm so sore. I feel like my legs are jelly, that kind of stuff. That is delayed onset muscle soreness. So these authors actually showed that we have more of this during the follicular phase. On top of that, this article also showed that we have more strength loss in this phase too. My best guess is that this is because estrogen and testosterone are still low, but are on the rise. So although we are not bleeding anymore and we want to push ourselves, our hormones are begging us to not go so hard because they're still a little bit lower. And because they're lower, we're going to have less opportunity to, remember, recover and build our muscle tissue. So although we might not be the strongest in this phase of our cycle, authors Carmichael and colleagues showed that we actually have more aerobic power in this phase of our cycle. So if we have more aerobic power, this would be a great time to do low intensity, long duration exercises, and also focus on those drills and those types of exercises that are easiest for us. So maybe that is extending our rep load. So instead of doing 15 reps and going to failure, maybe you do 20 reps and you don't go to failure. So adjusting our workout routine like that, especially in the follicular phase, can really, really be helpful for us. If you're liking this video so far, go ahead, hit that like button, and we will continue on to most of our favorite phases, the ovulatory phase. So in the ovulatory phase, estrogen and testosterone are actually at their peak. So we can use this for better muscle recovery and better muscle growth. That is estrogen and testosterone doing its physiological job in the gym for us, or if you work out at home for you, or if you work out in a yoga studio, that there. Anyway, the same study that I mentioned before by Carmichael and scholars showed that we actually have more anaerobic power during this phase of our cycle. And some studies have suggested that we actually use sugar better. Sugar is tied to anaerobic power. So those are things like squat jumps, exercises that bring you to failure. So remember, in the follicular phase, I was saying, maybe you don't do 15 reps and go to failure. Well, in this phase of your cycle, you go to failure because estrogen and testosterone are really on your side here. The same study by Carmichael and colleagues also showed that we have more motivation in this phase of our cycle. So if you are working to set a personal record, or you just want to see how good you are at something, or if you're doing a personal assessment for yourself, always, always, always do it in your ovulatory phase. Now, let's go to the luteal phase. Studies actually show that we have differences in strength in the mid and late luteal phase. So if you're familiar with the cycle and you've worked out with your cycle a lot, you know that in your late luteal phase, you actually have less energy, whereas in your mid luteal phase, you actually might have a little bit more energy to put towards your workouts. My best guess is that is because estrogen and testosterone are doing the slow decline. It shouldn't be like a roller coaster vertical drop drop, that estrogen and testosterone are going down. They should be doing a nice slow decline as you approach your period. And so that explains why strength might be a little bit higher in the mid to early luteal phase. The same study by Carmichael and colleagues also showed that we actually burn more fat in this phase of our cycle. It's really awesome when we think about programming workouts for ourselves. Because fat burns at a lower intensity, this is a great time to do lower intensity workouts, especially because we have a little bit of strength loss when we're heading towards the late luteal phase as well. So this is a good time to do those long intensity, low duration exercises, as you might be losing motivation as well. You might not be as into your exercises. So I have a few low intensity luteal phase workouts here. I'll pop them right here and I'll also pop them down below. But this is a great time to use, I say use fat instead of burn fat. We're using fat in this phase of our cycle to fuel our workouts. So keep that in mind, and let's do a little recap too. So in the bleed phase, hormones are lowest and not the best time to push yourself, but do a lot of recovery workouts in this phase of your cycle. In your follicular phase, your strength is a little bit lower, but you have better aerobic capacity. So this is the time to do higher reps, but lower weight. In the ovulatory phase, this is the time that you have more power and more ability to use sugar for fuel. Sugar means power. So this is the time to do your reps to failure and to really challenge yourself. And in the luteal phase, so in the early to mid luteal phase, you might not be taking your exercises to failure, but you might be doing 15 reps of the exercises that you do. And in the late luteal phase, you might be going towards more aerobic exercises. Those are long walks, long yoga sessions, and more reps and less weight if you are doing weight training. Go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel for more menstrual cycle health and fitness information, inspiration, and workouts. And if you are ready to get more educated on the topic of menstrual cycle health and fitness, go ahead and book a call with me using the link below. And if you are the type of person that doesn't exactly know where you are in your cycle, watch this video on intuitive cycle tracking next. I will see you next time. Bye.